Welcome to the B4 Business Brunch. I'm your host, Imisi Adefala, the founder of Inspiring Action Media. And I'm joined with Adham. Adham, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you very much, Imisi. So glad that we're doing co-hosting this brunch. My name is Adam. I'm a Facebook ads expert. Spend well over seven figures helping different businesses to get a positive return on their investment through Facebook ads.
Brilliant.
And we're super excited to talk about Clubhouse today.
Yes, the future of Clubhouse. And it's definitely been the trending topic in the last couple of months, probably, in terms of the social media space. Very, very exciting. Do you want to give a little introduction into what Clubhouse is or how you defined it, Adam?
Let's go with a simple saying that it's a new social media voice platform, right? It's voice only, and you can't really message anybody on there. You can just either listen live while somebody's talking, or also join the conversation, create rooms on different topics. And so far, there's a lot of influencers, politicians, Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg, for example, are joining Clubhouse because they like the interactiveness and the way how the platform is set up.
Yeah, it's a very clever platform. I think what's amazing about it is that firstly, it's like live podcasts, right? But rooms aren't recorded, so it's actually not permitted to record anything that goes on in a room. So it's very exciting. I think that keeps the excitement of it because it's all live, and I also think it creates FOMO, so actually fear of missing out, right? Because if you miss the room, you've missed the content. So when you have Elon Musk speaking to a room of what, 5,000?
5,000, yeah.
Yeah, a room of 5,000 people. People want to listen to him. You know, the richest or the wealthiest man in the world. So it's really, really exciting, and it's actually it's just got valued at 1 billion, which is
Pretty crazy, right? You would agree. It's not been even 1 year, and it's an invitation only app, and they still consider it on beta. They are not fully scaling yet, but the valuation is
yeah,
pretty great.
sure. So do you think it's a hype, or like why do you think it's been valued that much?
I personally think it's not a hype. It's the fact that it generates so many bright minds in one place, which makes it so unique. And I think the mind-provoking, sometimes the conversations that happen on Clubhouse,
Wow.
people understand how you talk and how you speak. They feel your authenticity, or on the other hand, not authentic self of yours. They can pick it up from your voice. And sometimes the conversations that lead to mind-blowing ideas on live without scripting it, I think that what makes it so valuable, and brings a lot more people in there on the platform.
Nah, for sure. And I think where the power is as well is that on your profile, you can easily integrate your Twitter and your Instagram pages as well. And because it's voice only, you can actually use other social media networks whilst you're having, meaningful conversations on Clubhouse. And what we've seen is actually a collaboration, especially with Twitter. I always say that Twitter is probably the most underrated social media network in terms of it might not get them the increased user base, like the increased numbers, like apps like TikTok, for example, are experiencing. But what it does is that it has a very committed user base that engage with Twitter on a daily basis. I remember when I was working at Conversocial, we found out that because we used to work right next to the BBC, we found out that the BBC was being evacuated not by the news reports or fire marshals, is all through Twitter, right? So it's
Agree
almost
with that.
like, yeah, it's fantastic platform. And what we see is that when there's really great conversations on Clubhouse, we see those rooms using appropriate hashtags actually going viral on Twitter. So it's a really great way of engaging multi-platform, as well as I think you said you've had another 100 followers from your conversations on Clubhouse, right? People have searched you on or
Absolutely.
seen your Instagram page. Yeah.
Absolutely. You need to take into consideration that, Clubhouse, you can create rooms on any topics.
Yeah.
There's topics on, cold coolers for water. There's topics for different industries, the cannabis industry, even different topics, right? And I've done a room on Facebook advertising, and I've generated 150 followers. In total, I've generated 350 followers, but out of those 350, 50% will go and check your Instagram or your Twitter. And if you've been talking about something really good and sharing value in your room, those people from that reached out to you on Instagram, 20% of them will become business leads.
Yeah. Facts. Facts. And it will be interesting to how it impacts politics as well. We saw when Obama became or was running for his presidency, he really utilized social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter. Then we saw Donald Trump with his use of Twitter. So as we go into the Biden has started his term, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if more and more politicians actually try to leverage Clubhouse and actually almost have like a town hall meeting, but on Clubhouse. So I think if you're looking at the future, we have to really look at how politics will position this to generate votes and generate interest in their causes. So that's really fascinating. We actually even seen China blocking Clubhouse as well. So they've already obviously seen that as a channel, as potential channel that is a threat to China, but I don't want to speak too much about China just in case any of them are listening to this. So.
But I will also add on to the fact that the influence of either a politician or a person like Elon Musk, for example, where people are allowed to only 5,000 people are allowed in one room. So can you imagine that people who couldn't get into that room were making overflow rooms? Right, people were copying and duplicating and trying to share that information with other people. It was like 3 or 4 or 5K rooms, and conversations like that, for example, with Elon Musk, they can even change market prices. The cryptocurrency markets.
Facts. And that's where you're seeing the real value in it. It's the quality of content, and I think it's also in terms of society. It could potentially, I'm not sure the impact. Because from a Christian perspective, because I go into a lot of Christian rooms, I've seen a lot of Christians and non-Christians actually debating in rooms about, faith topics, for example. And again, continuing that conversation on apps on Twitter and stuff like that. So I'm hoping, I want to be optimistic that, we're seeing a lot of a divide between the left and the right, for example. I'm hoping that Clubhouse can actually be used as a tool to try and bring some better understanding between both user bases. I hope that rooms don't just say, oh, this is just a left wing room or this is just a right wing room, and people can come to a mutual understanding because that's very important for humanity in general.
Absolutely agree on that.
Yeah, for sure. And so a lot of people think that, this is just a fad, it's going to die down in a couple of months. What do you say to those people that say it's just a fad?
I think the way this platform started is absolutely started in the most important, I think, in one of the biggest problematic pandemic times, and when people were missing this connection. And right, they wanted to connect on a different way. Not everybody likes to be on a video call, right? Not everybody likes to message sometimes, and Clubhouse, I think, just bridges the gap where you can basically be in your pajamas and still talk to people, or just switch your mic.
Toilet, you can be, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It gives you the freedom, and you don't necessarily have to talk. You can just listen.
Yeah.
And I think it's not the way it's valued now at 1 billion and 6 million users, and it's growing. It's most likely 7 million by now already. I see that the Clubhouse is trying to scale right now, so that's why they're giving more invites. Clubhouse is an invite only platform, right? For iPhone only, we have to mention that. And at the beginning there was only English speaking rooms, but now there is Russian speaking rooms, German speaking rooms, Chinese speaking rooms, and it's growing and growing day by day. I believe the potential is huge here. The only thing I hope is that any other big platform not going to buy Clubhouse. That's the thing I'm worried about. I wouldn't want Clubhouse to be sold to Facebook, for example.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And just before we go on to competitors and potentially, potential buyers of Clubhouse, just wanted to, because you're not in the UK at the moment. Some argue that this Clubhouse is only going to be relevant during lockdown and times where access to movement is not really a thing at the moment. So because people are bored in a house bored, they're just using to speak to new people. But obviously, you're not in the UK, so do you want to explain your situation and what you found?
Yes, absolutely. I had to travel to Uzbekistan for business reasons, and UK is on quarantine still on quarantine. But here in Uzbekistan, there is no COVID. I mean, there is COVID, but not many cases. But everything is open. Everything is pretty much open, and people are spending big amounts of time on Clubhouse, even though pandemic, you can't really see that the pandemic is happening. I think the reason why is a lot of people already been sick and nobody cares about it anymore. That they have an immune system to it, and people are spending time no matter if it's a quarantine or not, and connecting with other people. I believe quarantine is not an issue here.
Nah,
Quarantine or not.
for sure, for sure. Okay, cool. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. So you spoke about you don't want competitors to buy Clubhouse. We saw obviously Mark Zuckerberg actually had a room. You're speaking about AI, I believe you mentioned yesterday. Is that an indication that he's looking to potentially buy it or collaborate with Clubhouse? Because at the end of the day, if they're taking eyes and ears off Facebook and Instagram, and usage of Instagram is down, that's a very big threat to their revenue streams. Because obviously advertisers are the ones that pay Facebook, and if less people are using Facebook and Instagram, for example, that means that advertisers will see that as less of a channel to find potential customers. So firstly, why wouldn't you want Facebook to buy it? And if they did, what do you think the impact on Clubhouse would be?
Imisi, you're absolutely right. The usage of this new platform, people can even spend 20 to 25 hours, 40 hours.
I've seen 7-day, 2-week rooms that have been going on for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Crazy.
Exactly, right? So you can pretty much spend a lot of time on it, and you're absolutely right. And other platforms can see a decrease in revenue because of that. But one of the main reasons why I don't want Facebook to acquire Clubhouse is they already tried to basically copy the story method from Snapchat to Instagram, and they succeeded with that. They succeeded with a lot of things, but I think they're even testing rooms now. I think they're testing it in US on Instagram. They're testing rooms. It's sort of, I don't know how the features work, but I think they're adding too many features on one platform, and I think it's too distracting. But Clubhouse is different. You're just there on it, and you're pretty much focused on one conversation or one room. And and obviously I've been running Facebook ads, and I know how Facebook is demonized at the moment with the breach of data and everything. So I would be very cautious if they would acquire Clubhouse.
Yeah, we're even seeing people leaving WhatsApp because they're finding out that Facebook owns WhatsApp as well, and they're moving to apps like Telegram. So if Facebook did buy Clubhouse, it might have a really negative impact, because I just don't think Facebook as a brand is very popular right now. And it's so funny because we both do Facebook ads, so so it's so interesting that we hope Facebook doesn't buy it. So that's so interesting. Yeah, man. Okay, cool. So let's talk about advertising opportunities, because right now, Clubhouse doesn't make any revenue because you can't advertise on Clubhouse or anything like that. So where do you see advertising like playing its role in Clubhouse?
I'm actually curious about this myself, and from my perspective, one of the first things that comes to my mind is the fact that you can create rooms, private rooms, you can create social rooms on Clubhouse, and you can create just public rooms, right, for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're an influencer, or let's say you're a coach, you're a life coach, and you want to help people out, and if you want to earn money on the platform, I think Clubhouse could introduce private rooms where people pay to be in those private rooms and have this intimate conversation or any type of conversation that helps them out in their life.
Yeah.
I think that is one of the ways that it can go to. What do you think, Imisi? What other ways, in your opinion, can take place into monetization and stuff like that?
No, for sure. I think from Clubhouse perspective, how they can monetize it is, so they can argue to advertisers that, hey, we, on average, rooms last for maybe 2 hours or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 hours that people are really relatively engaged on the app if they're listening or they're talking, right? And there are still spaces. If you guys at home, wherever, actually get an invite to Clubhouse and check out one of the rooms, there's certain spaces within the app that they could potentially introduce banner ads, and directly advertise on the platform using the actual spaces on the platform. So that could be a revenue stream for Clubhouse. And then we also have the data aspect as well, because data is where they're gonna, really, it's gonna become really lucrative. And obviously, the way Facebook collects data is that they ask you, are you married? Are you single? What university do you go to? Do you like Kevin Hart? Don't you like Kevin Hart? Who's your best friends? All that type of stuff. And it's all about inputting data on the platform so they can make a profile about you, so they can tell advertisers this is his likes, this is his interest, so you can send this guy an advert. So Clubhouse could position it to users and be like, hey, we want to give you more tailored rooms, so tailored content to your interest. How about you fill out these couple of questions? And then they can start to get data from their growing customer base. And then obviously they can sell that data to different firms, or again, leverage those data for future banner ads. So those are two potentials. I think those are pretty solid.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. You've mentioned quite a lot of it. Yeah, it's still the founders are still deciding on how they're going to do it so far. But I'm really curious to see where it takes us.
I love that they have town halls as well. I think it's every Sunday. So
Every Sunday with founders.
It's so unique. First, it's invite only, and then secondly, you can actually speak to the founders. I think accessibility to founders is something that a lot of people have been looking for in terms of their relationship with social media apps. So because you can literally interact on the platform with the founders, I think that's increased trust and really created almost like this family type of environment on Clubhouse. Hey, you're on Clubhouse, I'm on Clubhouse. This is cool. Do you know what I mean? Let's connect type thing. So that's really, really interesting. All right, brilliant. So in terms of, should we move on to tips for businesses, or have you got anything else pertaining especially to the future?
Yeah, we could give some quick tips. I think just a quick little ones where I think that on Clubhouse, I think it's the first thing that people see on Clubhouse when you speak is your picture and the first three rows of your bio. So I think it's really important to have a very catchy 3 rows on your bio that gets their attention, and they click on it and they can read the full bio. They can see your Instagram or Twitter at the bottom. And being authentic and sharing some great value will generate followers on Clubhouse very quickly, and that in turn will increase your other social media platforms. I think it's one of the tips that I could give.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I think if you're looking to start a room on Clubhouse, so if potentially B4 wants to get on Clubhouse and start their own rooms, I think having really interesting titles of the room is very important. So people know, like, even if they're not connected to you, people just randomly browsing, you know, making sure that it's quite clickbaity as well. You know, you're making a statement within the title of the room to get people interested. I think obviously pre-promotion as well. Do you want to speak about pre-promotion, Adam?
Pre-promotion, yes, that's I think the feature that they have on the platform is basically scheduling your conversations ahead of time, and people can look at the top of their app, they can see the calendar, and they can schedule the actual rooms way ahead, right? They can have it in their Google Calendar, which makes it so easy to access. Just to tap of the click the link, and then you go to the room, and it's a great reminder to push it that way as well.
Nah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, and obviously as well using other platforms. So share it on your story, share it on your LinkedIn page, share it on Twitter, all of that. That's very, very important. And also you can also ping people into the room as well. So ping all the people that follow you into your room and remind the audience to ping people as well into the room as well. And remind the audience to follow you for more content as well. So yeah, I think anything else you want to add? Any final thoughts, Adam?
I think we had 3 good tips there, 4 tips.
If you guys want any more tips, you're gonna have to pay us. So follow us on Instagram. You can find me on @Imisi, so IMISI.x. Adam.
Yes, and you can find my Instagram at Adham, so it's ADHAM 0808, and the same on Clubhouse. I would share my ad on Clubhouse. That is facebook.ads. That's it. You can easily find me on Clubhouse if you just type in facebook.ads.
Yeah, for sure. And since this is a Clubhouse conversation, my address is also @Imisi.x. That's very clever that you put Facebook.ads. That's so clever.
That's a great tip that I could give as well, because people search Facebook and then you come up first at the top, and if they're interested on Facebook, they just give you a follow.
No, that's really, really clever. I wish I thought of that as well. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us today at the B4 Business Brunch. Hopefully this is one of many that we'll host, and we'll talk about different topics regarding to social media. Hope you find that interesting. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And hey, we'll see the future. The future will be interesting for Clubhouse, and we're very, very interested to see where it goes. So yeah, get on board if you're not on it.
100%. I can't agree more. Thank you very much for tuning in. I hope you got it valuable, and I think I would love to come next time and talk about something interesting again. Maybe the new updates from Clubhouse and how it's changing.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. All right, guys. Peace and love. We're out. Bye.